Hi, and welcome to the OTC Toolkits virtual tour. My name is Gavin Hulse, and I'm a member of the OTC team that helped develop the toolkits, and I'm primarily responsible for the website that you're looking at right now. So in this video, we're going to go through a virtual tour of the Toolkits website, just to highlight some of the information areas that you can access so that you get the most value out of your membership. Before we start though, let me just explain what a toolkit is. You've probably heard before that a toolkit is a container for all types of resources that you might need on a capital project. In fact, it is, and it is also a subject area. So what OTC have done is they've looked at the entire scope of what might be involved in a capital project, and they've broken that down into subject areas. And within each of those areas, we have a toolkit or a set of toolkits. Some of the toolkits are overview in nature. In other words, they will just give you a high-level description of the processes that will be followed. Others will drill really deep down in a lot of detail into specific subject areas.
Now I'm going to show you what happens when you land on a toolkit page. Each of the toolkits will be accessible from the menu at the top. At the moment we only have 3 shown here. This list is going to grow as our membership content increases, of course. So we've landed on the StageGate toolkit page, and it starts with a picture up here. The toolkits are the containers in which we've put all of the resources around a specific subject. So we started at the top here with a nice diagram. This is the StageGate model. We talk a little bit about the StageGate model, and you can see who the toolkit lead is. In this case, Freek van Heerden is the lead for this toolkit, and Freek is then responsible for the content and that your queries have been answered, and Freek is setting the direction and the strategy for this toolkit. You also then may have an article. In this case, we've got this month's feature, and this month's feature for the StageGate is some outline training for the StageGate model. On the right-hand side here are the shortcut links to the most important content that is available under this toolkit. And we're going to talk a little bit just now about what they are, but the first is the practical guide, the second are the templates, the third are any related e-learning courses, and the fourth are the discussions. These are the core pillars of the content of each of the toolkits, and you'll be able to access them from this page directly. If there are any related toolkits, they will be shown here. And finally, down at the bottom, we have some recent discussions, and then any related articles and resources that have been published around the StageGate model. So a good place to start to get information about a particular subject is to have a look at the toolkits overview page.
So having described what a toolkit is, let's now have a look at the components of a toolkit. What types of resources would you have there? Now, a little secret within OTC is that we actually, before we start developing the toolkit itself, we start with something very special, and that is the practical guide. The practical guide is really the place where the experienced practitioners describe what it is that is important about a particular subject. So these are short guides, and they really tell you what you need to know.
Now I'm going to show you the practical guides. Practical guides have been written by OTC consultants based on their experience in industry. So you can obtain a practical guide from each of the toolkits by clicking on the practical guide button there. I've done that already, and here is the page that you will get to. And there is a download guide button, and if you want to go straight there, you will open the guide itself. But let's just go back to that page for a moment. You get some description, the intended audience, and the contents of that guide. So what is inside a practical guide? So a practical guide, as I said, is really a short document. It's in PDF format, which you can download. And it contains a summary of the particular subject area in a very practical way that helps you understand the subject in depth. Each of the toolkits, in summary, has a practical guide, and we highly recommend that you download the practical guide and work through that ahead of looking at some of the other content that's available in that particular toolkit.
Once the practical guide is in place, then we can craft and build on top of that. We can select templates, we can build the e-learning training, and so forth. So what are those other resources that may be of interest to you? Well, I've just mentioned templates. These are documents, typically Microsoft Word or Excel, which have been used in the industrial environment already, and they just need a little bit of tweaking here and there. It will really save you a lot of time to use the templates. So have a look at them.
Like the practical guides, templates are a foundation pillar of the toolkit content. And you can find a link to the templates from within the toolkits by clicking on the templates button. The templates will open up and give you lists of any templates that are relevant. Now in this case we're looking at the sponsor templates, and there are several templates, and you can see some of them are in Microsoft Word format, and there may also be other templates in other formats like Microsoft Excel and so forth. So let me show you a typical template. This is one that's in Microsoft Word, and it is the project charter, and I'm going to zoom through it quickly so that you get a feeling for the content that you might find inside a typical template. Now, these templates have been worked out already in industry. They're intended to save you time so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and they're in a format which you can modify and edit for your own requirements. So they give you a jump start, if you like, to a particular subject, and in that sense they can be particularly useful resources.
The other important resource that is going to be of great interest to you is the e-learning training courses. Now, these courses have been designed for busy professionals. They're not padded out. They are basically structured with very short, to-the-point subject matter units, if you like, which can be consumed on a mobile device while you're traveling and literally within 5 minutes each. So this makes it practical for you to get the information that you really need when you need it as you're on the move.
Next, I'm going to show you how you would get into a particular course and some of the information that's relevant as you find the course that is of most interest to you. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on one of these links, the course sponsor, and go straight to the course overview page, which is what you see here. Now, the course overview or the course outline page really gives you some more information about the course itself. The number of modules, for example, how long it would take you to go through the video material, how many documents, and so forth. It also shows who is the target audience for this particular course, and it gives you here, as you can see, a course description, some of the prerequisites, and some of the other related toolkits that might add value. Your course instructor in this particular case is Davida, and she will take you through the material. So at this point, I'm going to click on the Take This Course button, which takes me to the next page, which is the actual course page itself. And here you can see now on the left-hand side each of the modules for this particular course together with the units inside that module. Now, this particular example, the sponsor training, is what we would call a full course. To access these, obviously, you would simply click on the link and you would go straight into the topic. Here I'm going to show you what you would see inside a typical course unit. If you remember from the previous video, you can click onto those course units inside the course outline. Now, in this particular example on this page, we've got a self-assessment. So before I talk about the self-assessment, let me just give you some orientation about the page that you're looking at. You're now looking at a course unit because on the right-hand side you see a progress bar, and the progress shows you the curriculum of the course and all the units, the same as what you saw in the previous video, except that it's now in a convenient, easy-to-navigate bar on the right-hand side. You can shrink these and expand them and browse up and down to find the topics that you are interested in. In this particular one, the Sponsor Tools Self-Assessment, we are on the first unit of the Sponsor Toolkit course. And this is a self-assessment. And just to show you what that means is that it's really a small quiz. And in this particular instance, there's no right or wrong answer. The intention of this particular quiz was to test your understanding of a subject before you take the course itself. At the end of the course, you come back to this assessment information and check that you have learned a lot in that course and where the gaps might be. You would access the course units either by clicking Next Unit here, or you would click the relevant unit from the navigation on the right-hand side. When you have finished a unit, there will be a button at the bottom that says Mark this as complete, which you then do. And as you complete all the units, your overall progress in the course will start going up.
The final area that I want to highlight are the discussion forums. The OTC Toolkits membership is a private membership, and so the people that you're going to encounter in the discussion areas are all there with a common purpose, and that is to learn about best practices and get practical advice around the capital project environment. So when you go into the discussion areas, you must feel free to ask questions. The OTC consultants are going to be there looking, and they're going to use your questions to help improve the material going forward. They will also try and answer the questions to the best of their ability, and if they can't, your fellow members will be able to. So the discussion forums are a very, very important part of the Toolkits membership, where you will be able to connect with other professionals in industry, ask your questions in a low-hype, non-intimidating, no sales allowed environment.
As you're getting going, why not take some time to learn a little bit about the OTC team? You can find their information under the Community menu option, Toolkits Team, which takes you to this page. Here you'll find the names and the interests of the individuals that have prepared the material, and you can contact them directly through the email address. An even better way of contacting the OTC team, though, is through the community and the discussion areas. And in the next session, we're going to talk a little bit about the discussions and how to get the most out of that. One of the most important membership benefits is the community. Through the discussion forums, you have the ability to connect with other members in the membership program, as well as with the OTC consultants. And this can be a huge value add as you form new professional connections and grow your network. The difference between the OTC membership and some of the open forums such as LinkedIn and Facebook is that this truly is a private group, and that we encourage open sharing of information between members in a very supportive and facilitated environment. So under the community option, there is a menu item, All Discussions, and that takes you a page like this, where the discussions are listed and the most recent topics are also listed.
Every week we will send you an email that describes what is happening in the discussion forums, what new material has been posted, so you won't be left high and dry wondering what's new.
A good place to get going is to have a look at the latest news. The latest news is something that you get from the top menu. Just click on the latest news item up there and you'll get to this page. Now, as the content in the toolkits increases, it's going to become more and more difficult to know what's new and what's changed. So a good place to start is just to come here and have a look at the latest articles.
So thank you for joining me on this virtual tour. If you need any help and support, there is a menu at the top with a help and support option, some frequently asked questions, and you can of course contact OTC at any point in time. We're really looking forward to having you part of us in this membership program. We really would like to see you participating, giving us your ideas, thoughts and suggestions, and really getting stuck in full out. Cheers.